London, 6 April 1983. The morning air outside Heathrow's Brinksmat warehouse is thick with diesel and drizzle. Inside, 6 security guards begin another routine shift, guarding one of Britain's most secure vaults. Within minutes, that normal day will erupt into violence and history. Masked men in police uniforms burst through the gates, shouting orders. One of them knows the system, knows the alarms, knows the names. In less than an hour, £26 million worth of gold bars will vanish, worth over £10 million in today's terms, and a chain of murders, betrayals, and money laundering will ripple through London for decades. Welcome to Inside the UK's Most Mysterious Cases. This is London's £10 million gold heist, the crew who vanished into thin air. Brinksmat wasn't just another warehouse. It was a fortress inside Heathrow's perimeter, protected by armed patrols and coded entry locks. The job that morning was supposed to involve storing gold for Johnson Matthey bankers, destined for shipment abroad. But one of the guards, security officer Anthony Black, had been talking, boasting even, to his brother-in-law, a man named Brian Robinson. Robinson was no stranger to armed robberies. He saw an opportunity and brought in his old partner, Mickey McAvoy. Together, they began building what they believed would be the perfect job. Their plan wasn't to take cash. It was to take bullion, gold bars worth more than £26 million then, roughly £10 million adjusted. A heist so audacious that even London's underworld didn't quite believe it possible. 6:40 a.m. A Ford Transit van, its blue lights flashing, rolls toward the warehouse gate. Inside sit 6 men dressed as police officers. The guards open the gate. After all, they think it's a police inspection. Once inside, the officers draw shotguns. Everyone is ordered to lie face down. Their hands are tied with cable. The gang clearly knows every corner of the building. One voice instructs another to find the alarms. They even use the guards' first names. It becomes obvious this isn't random. Someone inside has told them everything. In the vault, guard Anthony Black's key grants access. They expect to find £3 million in cash, but stacked against the far wall are 6,800 gold bars recently flown in from Zurich. The robbers freeze for a moment. Then the leader, McAvoy, grins. "We'll take the lot." For nearly 2 hours, they load the van with gold, diamonds, and traveler's checks. 8:15 a.m. They lock the guards in the restroom, douse the floor with petrol, and threaten to ignite it if the police arrive too soon. Then they vanish through the gates as quietly as they came in. By the time the first patrol car reaches the scene, the world's largest gold heist has already happened. The gang drives the loaded van to a remote farmhouse in Kent, owned by McAvoy's associate, Brian Reeder. The plan: melt the bullion down into smaller bars, remove serial numbers, and sell gradually through trusted fences. This is where Kenneth Noy, an intelligent, volatile criminal with a reputation for laundering stolen gold, enters the scene. Noy's property in West Kingsdown becomes the hub. He builds a makeshift smelting shed behind the house. Bars are melted, mixed with copper and scrap to disguise origin. Within weeks, traces of Brinksmat gold begin resurfacing in the international market. Dubai, Zurich, Hong Kong. The transformation from daylight robbery to global laundering network is underway. Scotland Yard's flying squad, led by Detective Superintendent Brian Boyce, realizes they aren't chasing just thieves. They're chasing an economy. Detectives face an immediate problem. There's no CCTV, no alarms, and the guards can't identify anyone beneath the mask. But they do remember one thing. The robbers knew their names. That narrows suspicion to insiders. Anthony Black quickly cracks under pressure, admitting he'd spoken to his brother-in-law, Brian Robinson. Warrants are issued. Within days, McAvoy and Robinson are arrested, found living lavishly despite no legitimate income. But the gold itself is gone. Police raid Noy's estate in January 1985. In the garden, they find crucibles, furnaces, and molds matching the gold bar size. They also find scales still coated with residue of melted bullion. As officers move in, Noy stabs Detective Constable John Fordham to death during surveillance. He claims self-defense and is acquitted, but his connection to Brinksmat is now undeniable. What began as a heist quickly mutates into tragedy. Over the following years, at least 10 people linked to the gold die in suspicious circumstances. Some shot, some disappeared, some found burned in cars across London and Kent. Insiders turn on each other. Money changes hands faster than it can be traced. Properties in Spain, villas on the Costa del Sol, nightclubs in Soho. Detectives later call it the curse of Brinks-Mat. Every man who touched the gold, directly or indirectly, seemed to meet a violent end. Even by the standards of London's criminal underworld, the body count is extraordinary. To trace the gold, investigators pivot from guns to ledgers. They follow cash deposits, mortgage records, offshore accounts. A financial advisor named Gordon Perry becomes the key link. Using shell companies and fake invoices, he launders millions through the Bank of Credit and Commerce International. Homes are purchased under aliases, luxury cars bought in cash. Detectives painstakingly piece together 1,000 bank transactions, uncovering a trail that leads from small London jewelers to Middle Eastern exchanges. Of the original 6,800 bars, less than half are ever accounted for. The rest, smelted, sold, and mixed into the world's legitimate gold supply, possibly sitting today in ordinary wedding rings and investment bullion. In 1984, at the Old Bailey, McAvoy and Robinson are convicted of armed robbery and conspiracy to rob. Both received 25 years. Anthony Black, the inside man, is sentenced to 6 years for conspiracy. But the police know more players remain free. In 1986, Noy and Perry faced charges of handling stolen gold. Evidence from the smelting shed and forensic gold trace analysis tie them directly to the heist. Noy receives 14 years, Perry 10. By now, only small portions of the loot are recovered, around £3 million in bullion and assets. The remaining £7 million melts invisibly into financial systems that police can't reach. The phrase Brinks-Mat money enters the press lexicon, shorthand for dirty cash circulating through Britain's property boom. Detectives later estimate that over £500 million worth of property and businesses were built on laundered Brinks-Mat proceeds. The robbery unintentionally financed entire corners of modern London. Docklands Flats, Marbella Villas, East End clubs, even parts of the early Canary Wharf investment rush. The NCA would later describe the heist as the foundation of Britain's modern organized crime economy. In the 1990s, Noy resurfaces in another notorious case, the M25 road rage murder of Stephen Cameron. Convicted again, he's sentenced to life. As for the gold, despite global cooperation, most remains unrecovered. The serial numbers were erased, the bars melted, identities changed. It is entirely possible that part of the Brinks-Mat fortune still lies in London's banks, circulating innocently under new names. Brinks-Mat transformed how Britain viewed organized crime. It wasn't just thugs with sawn-offs, it was businessmen, accountants, and lawyers. The case prompted new legislation on money laundering and asset seizure, leading eventually to the Proceeds of Crime Act 2002. It also changed airport security protocols. Enhanced vetting for warehouse staff, dual key vault systems, mandatory CCTV inside secure zones. For law enforcement, the lesson was clear. Follow the money, not the masks. For London's underworld, Brinks-Mat became legend, a story of greed, paranoia, and the illusion of untouchability. Every few years, new whispers emerge, of hidden bars resurfacing, of pensioners unknowingly sitting on laundered millions. But the truth remains buried somewhere between myth and metallurgy. 40 years on, the fate of most of the gold is still unknown. Many who touched it are dead, others keep silent. Investigators believe up to £8 million worth of Brinks-Mat bullion remains untraceable, lost in plain sight. The robbery began with one careless boast inside a warehouse and ended by reshaping British crime forever. So where is the missing gold now? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you'd like more deep dives into Britain's most mysterious crimes, subscribe and join us in the next episode when we uncover the hitman who came to London.